Welcome to your first basic portrait drawing lesson. I am Médard-Ramchurn and I'm so happy to welcome you on board. Today I'm going to show you how to do a basic portrait drawing so that later on you can do more elaborate portraits. So we are going to use one plain paper. You can use one A4 paper. If you have very good papers like very good cartridge papers, special drawing papers or watercolor papers, it's better to keep them for later on. To start practicing, I suggest you take a basic A4 size paper, the printing papers that you usually use for projects and things like that. You also need a few pencils. Here I'm showing you a variety of pencils. You have the grade B series pencil, you have 2B, 3B, 4B pencils, but for this exercise it's better to have your 2B pencil and one eraser. So let's get started. To start with, it's always good to start a drawing with basic shapes. Here we are going to do an oval shape. If ever you are having several lines overlapping, you just leave them. Don't start wasting time by erasing all the lines all the time. You just keep them for the time being. So you just do a basic oval shape to represent the face of someone. Then we are going to divide this oval shape into two parts horizontally. You can just measure by using your fingers like I did. You don't need a ruler to do those measurements. Then you do the same. You divide again with a vertical line. And again, just try to check if it is more or less equal. So on this horizontal line, we are going to draw the eyes. For the first eye, you are going to do like an almond shape to represent one eye. Don't forget that this is the basic portrait drawing, so you are going to learn about the proportions. So to do the second eye, we are going to measure this first eye. I'm sure you didn't know that the distance between two eyes is equal to the length of one eye. So this can help you in having a more accurate portrait drawing. Of course, for some people it might be less or a little bit more, but for most people it will be equal to the length of one eye. So now we're going to move on with the nose. As you can see, for the nose I did a simple triangle. And the triangle starts from one eye and to the other one. Then to do the mouth, we are going to draw two lines in the middle of the eyes. As you see, when I draw one line in the middle of the eyes, I can get the measurement for the mouth. It might seem a little bit funny here, but believe me, these basic measurements are going to help you a lot once you start drawing more elaborate portraits. So as you see, for the mouth, we did like two small triangles for the upper lip and like a bird shape for the lower lip. And as for the eyebrows, we can just draw two straight lines and one like pointed shape just for the ends. As usually we don't really draw the eyebrows. If you are drawing, we can shade them directly. For the ears, as you can see, it will usually start from in between the nose and the mouth, and it will end up to the in between the eyebrow and the eyelids. And as I mentioned earlier, all of these measurements are very basic ones. So when you will be drawing, when you will be observing someone to do the portrait of someone from your family or friends, you might see that it will not be exactly the same. But basically it will be around those measurements that I'm showing you here. So we have moved on to put more details into the eyes, as you can see. Here we are showing two eyes that are wide open. And now we can start to erase some of the basic lines that we drew initially because they are no longer of any use for us. So we can just erase them. If you do not put those lines at the beginning, very often people tend to draw the eyes a little bit too much up. They draw the eyes like in the forehead. That's not really great. You need to pay attention to the basic things just before moving on to more details. Okay, now that you have removed all the lines that you no longer need, you can just add again whatever has been erased by error. So you just can correct things here and there. And now we're going to move on to the nose. I'll show you how to add more details. So we can do a small circle in the middle of the triangle, and two more smaller circles at the sides. So one circle in the center and two small circles at the sides to represent the nostrils. Then what we're going to do is just join everything together. See, that's very easy. I'm sure you didn't know that from that triangle we will have such a beautiful nose. I'm sure you were just wondering why we are doing a triangle for the nose. Here, this is a basic nose, and you will have just to modify it wherever you are drawing someone. Okay, I'm showing you again. One circle and two small circles at the sides. And what you're going to do a sort of curved line. Here I'm using a 4B pencil because you can at the same time just add some little shading for the nostrils. So we did a sort of curved line and just add two small curved lines at the sides, a little bit darker. And then you can remove the extra lines that you're not going to use, because later on you're going to paint or draw or shade this portrait. So you can remove any extra line that you will not need. Here you are for the nose. So you can do the same. You can erase whatever you will not need. Okay, We just started with the eyes wide open. Now we can add the eyelids like this. You can add this, and you can also draw the lower lid and shape again that upper lid. And again, for each person, the eyes will have a different form, because of course we are all different. So you will need to observe a lot and to try to practice drawing different eyes. You can observe from people around you, in your family. You can have photos of your friends and have close-up of their eyes so that you can practice drawing the eyes. Once again, we are adding the upper lid. Okay, and you can erase that shape that we did, because usually we do not have a shape really like outlining eyebrows, so we can directly do our pencil shading. Just pay attention to the directions of the lines. Some people will have thick eyebrows, some will have thin eyebrows. All these things will have to be developed through observation. Here it is just a basic portrait so that you know about the proportions, and then once you practice the proportions, it will be easier for you wherever you are observing a photo of someone, a portrait, a direct observation of someone. It will be easier for you to draw the portrait of the person. Here we have movement to the mouth. As you see, again we are using some kinds of curved lines, and then you can just remove that straight line that was there and the triangular shapes. And for the lower lip, we're going to have a more rounded shape. For the ears also, you will need to observe the shape of the ears. Here it's having a rather like a sort of peanut shape for the ears. And then we will have to add the details inside the ears. And of course, for the details also, you will need to just observe well so that you can make a realistic portrait. Here I'm just showing you one hairstyle. Of course, I'm not observing anyone in particular, I'm just showing you how from that basic oval shape we are going to add the hair, and it will take a little bit more volume on the head, because usually we have usually to start with you have the oval shape, but then afterwards we are going to add the hair in the end and have the shape of the head properly. Of course, you will be able to follow the next lesson where we are going to do a more elaborate portrait based on a photograph. We're going to observe from a photo, and I'll show you how to measure from the photograph so that you can transfer the measurements to your drawing paper and add the details accordingly. So here we have modified a little bit the oval shape that we did at the beginning to make it more realistic. We are adding the chin, the mouth here might seem a bit large, or the eyes may seem a bit big, but believe me, this is really the proportions that we all have. And then of course we are going to have different facial features because all of us are different. Some will have thick lips, some will have thin lips, some will have beautiful big eyes, some will have less eyelids. It will all depend on the person you're drawing. You may have to draw straight hair, curly hair, afro hair. So all this will demand practice, and of course we will have more lessons about each of the features I mentioned. We'll also have a drawing class on the different types of hair, and I'll show you how to draw different types of hair by using pencil shading. I am sure you have enjoyed this lesson with me. What I suggest is that you practice several times drawing the same. You can then join the next lesson where I'm going to show you how to observe from a photo so that you can draw portraits of your friends and your family. I'll see you then in the next lesson. Bye!